Hello, good morning and welcome back to my class, children. I'm so happy to have you all here. Today we will start a new chapter of science, chapter 10, Respiration in Organisms. All living organisms need energy to stay alive. This energy they get from the food that they eat. So, the process of producing energy from food is known as respiration. In other words, we can say that the process of breaking down the food molecules to produce energy is known as respiration. Respiration takes place in each and every cell of the body. As it is taking place in cell, it is also known as cellular respiration. Children, diverse organism performs respiration in different ways. For example, humans, cats, dogs, elephants, and insects. These animals use oxygen to produce energy. In brief, we can say that these are the organisms who uses oxygen to break food to produce energy. When respiration takes place in the presence of oxygen, the respiration is known as aerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration takes place in the presence of oxygen. The animals who perform aerobic respiration or produces energy by aerobic respiration cannot live without oxygen. Whereas there are certain organisms who do not use oxygen to produce energy. Yeast is an example of a living organism who do not use oxygen for respiration. And when the respiration takes place in the absence of oxygen is known as anaerobic respiration. In anaerobic respiration, the organism breaks down its food to produce energy without oxygen. Children, before moving to our next topic, one very important point to remember. Glucose. What is glucose? In animals like humans, cats, dogs, elephants, insects, tigers, extra food is stored in the form of glucose. Whereas in plants, the extra food is stored in the form of starch. Now let us see the breakdown of glucose by various pathways. Children, when breakdown of glucose occurs with the help of oxygen, the type of respiration is known as aerobic respiration. In aerobic respiration, glucose is broken down into carbon dioxide and water with the help of oxygen, and energy is released. This type of respiration is known as aerobic respiration. Most of the living organisms carry out aerobic respiration like humans, dogs, cats, elephants, and insects. Whereas when the glucose is broken down in the absence of oxygen, or I should say when the breakdown of glucose occurs in the absence of oxygen, then the respiration is known as anaerobic respiration. The microscopic organisms like yeast and certain bacteria carries out anaerobic respiration to produce energy. In anaerobic respiration, microorganisms like yeast break down glucose in the absence of oxygen to produce or to form alcohol and carbon dioxide and releases energy. Children, and hence we can say that yeast is a single-celled organism or a fungus that can live without oxygen. This process of anaerobic respiration in yeast occurs during fermentation, or we can say that the process of anaerobic respiration in yeast is termed as fermentation. Children, we, the human beings, obtain energy normally by aerobic respiration. However, under certain condition, our body, or I should say our muscle cells, produces energy by anaerobic respiration. Interesting? Let me tell you how. Whenever we do vigorous exercise, what happens? Extra energy is needed. So, the muscle cells of the body uses all the available oxygen. Then it can be supplied by the blood. As a result, anaerobic respiration takes place in muscle cells. In anaerobic respiration in muscle cells, glucose is broken down to form lactic acid, and a very small amount of energy is released. The accumulation of lactic acid in muscle cells causes muscle cramp. We can get relief from muscle cramps by hot water bath or a massage. Now let us quickly see the difference between aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. In anaerobic respiration, respiration takes place in the absence of oxygen, or I should say the glucose is broken down in the absence of oxygen. Whereas in aerobic respiration, the breakdown of glucose occurs in the presence of oxygen. In aerobic respiration, complete breakdown of glucose takes place. Whereas in anaerobic respiration, partial breakdown of glucose takes place. The end product of aerobic respiration is carbon dioxide, water and energy. Whereas in anaerobic respiration, the end products are alcohol in the case of yeast, whereas lactic acid when we talk about muscle cells. Aerobic respiration produces considerable amount of energy, whereas anaerobic respiration produces less amount of energy as compared to aerobic respiration. Children, our next topic is breathing. What is breathing? Inhalation and exhalation is known as breathing. Let me tell you in brief. The process of taking air rich in oxygen inside the body of an organism is known as inhalation, whereas expelling the air rich in carbon dioxide from the body of an organism is termed as exhalation. Children, point to remember, a breath means one inhalation plus one exhalation. Children, breathing is a continuous process in all living organisms, whether Take an example of humans, other animals or plants. Breathing rate. The number of times a person breathes in 1 minute is called breathing rate. The average breathing rate of an adult human being at rest is 15 to 18 times per minute. Keep in mind, beta, breathing rate increases with increased physical activities. That's all for today. We will be studying about the mechanism of breathing in my next video. But wait, there is a special appreciation message. Aditya Kumar, Anshika Sahu, Anshul Mali, Anshul Patel, Avni Singh, Dipali, Divyansh, Jayendra, Kakul, Priyal Sharma, Ronak Rai, Shivansh, Suryaveer and Yug Chokse. These were the names of the students who are regularly doing their homework, regularly maintaining proper notes in their copy, making beautiful, neat and clean diagrams in their notes. Good, very good, beta. Keep it up. Children, this is the first time that I'm teaching science to you all. But I'm overwhelmed by the kind of response I got from all of you. Please keep this kind of good work throughout the session. So, before we say bye-bye to each other, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Children, please share this video with your friends and motivate them. अगर आपसे कोई एक बच्चा भी मोटिवेट होता है तो ये आपके लिए बहुत अच्छी बात होगी और मेरे लिए बहुत अच्छी बात होगी कि हमसे भी कोई मोटिवेट हो रहा है. So, अच्छे काम में देरी नहीं. Don't forget to share the video with your friends. See you in my next class. Bye-bye.